Hi there! In today's tutorial, we'll explore one way to add color to your gypsum project, so grab your materials and let's get mixing. For today's tutorial, we'll be working with water-based pigments. Water-based pigments are perfect for plaster, cement, and many other gypsum-related projects. These pigments mix easily, give rich even color, and are great for beginners because they are simple to work with and easy to clean up. This is just one of the many colorants you can use in your creations, and I'll be showing you two main methods you can use to add water-based pigments to your gypsum projects to help you achieve a vibrant and beautiful finish every single time. Just as we did in our previous tutorial, we'll start by measuring out our components. So you're going to place your measuring cup or bowl on the scale and press the tare button to reset it to 0. This way, the container's weight isn't included. Now we are going to use the free scoop to transfer in 190 grams of your casting powder or your gypsum powder. You might also hear it being called eco resin in some projects. They are very similar, but eco resin is usually a special mix while this is pure gypsum. Once that's done, you're going to pour in 63 grams of water, and this is the 1 part of our 3 to 1 mix ratio. Since we are working with 3 parts of powder to 1 part of water, that means 190 grams of powder pairs exactly well with 63 grams of water. Next, we are going to mix everything together until we get a smooth lump-free batter just like this one. The consistency should always be well balanced, so it should not be too runny and it also shouldn't be too thick. If you follow the ratio correctly, this is exactly what you get every single time you mix your gypsum. Once you've achieved that smooth consistency, we are going to move on to the first method of using our water-based pigment. For this method, we are going to start with the batter that we have just mixed, and then we are going to add in a few drops of the water-based pigments and mix it in. Always remember to shake your liquid pigments for any type of craft at all because they tend to settle at the bottom. So the amounts of pigments you add depends on the shade you want. More drops for deeper color, fewer drops for lighter colors. Some crafters like to add the drops without fully mixing them in to create a marbled effect, so that's also an option depending on your design. Once your pigment is added and you've reached the look you want, you are going to pour that into the mold and then gently tap the mold to release all bubbles trapped at the bottom so they all rise to the top. After which you are going to spray a light mist of your isopropyl alcohol over the surface to remove any bubbles. For the first part of this tutorial, I mixed more gypsum than needed because I'll be using some for another project off camera. But for the second part or the second method, I'll be showing you the exact quantities needed just for this project. So if you're following along step by step, you can use those measurements to get the same results. So we're going to leave for this to sit in the mold for about 30 minutes. In the meantime, we are going to move on to the second project and then we're going to come back to demold the first one once it's ready. Hey, if you've made it this far, I want to say a big thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and share the video. And of course, hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications so you never miss a tutorial like this. Let's get back to it. Now for the second method of adding water-based pigment, we'll start by measuring out our water. For this part, I'm using exactly what's needed for this project, which is 48 grams of clean water. To figure out how much gypsum powder to use when you start by measuring the water, simply multiply the water amount by 3 and that gives you the powder quantity. If you measure the gypsum first, divide the powder amount by 3 to get the right amount for water. Now we're going to add our drops of water-based pigments directly into the water. This method dilutes the pigments first, which makes it easier to get an even color when we mix in the powder. Many crafters prefer this method because gypsum sets very quickly, and then pre-mixing the pigments into the water helps you to save time and avoid wasted material. So once the pigment is fully blended into the water, you're going to move ahead to add in the 3 parts of powder that you need for the project, and then you're going to mix that till you get that smooth lump free consistency and then the shade of color that you are looking for. Now, since this is a 3-to-1 mix ratio, 3 parts of powder will be 143 grams. So we are going to pour out 143 grams of powder and then we're going to mix that in. It's still alright to add in extra drops of pigment even after you have mixed in the powder at this point, because you are just trying to get a specific consistency and that's totally normal. Once you've got the consistency you want, you need to start by pouring about half into the mold. This way, when you tap the mold to get the bubbles out, you won't have gypsum spilling all over your surface, right? So you're going to tap and tilt the mold so it spreads evenly into the corners, and then this lets the bubbles rise to the top. Next, you're going to go ahead and then pour the rest. So don't forget to do the same for the cover as well. And you're going to give it another tap, after which you are going to spray the surface with your isopropyl alcohol and then just let it sit for 30 minutes before coming back to the mold. Even though the gypsum is solid at this point, which is about 30 minutes after mixing and pouring, it's still not fully cured. So always keep in mind, when you are demolding this early, you need to take your time to avoid cracking the piece or messing up the finish. Now it's been a little over 30 minutes since we made the first project, so let's go ahead and demold it. This is the one we made where we added the water-based pigment after mixing up the gypsum batter. You can already see those white and green streaks showing through, and that's because we didn't fully mix the pigments in, and that's the whole point of the design. We wanted a subtle marble effect, so I just dropped in the pigment, gave it a quick swirl, and poured it into the mold. And now we've got exactly the result we were going for. Now for the second one, which is the piece we made by first diluting the water-based pigments in water before adding the casting powder or the gypsum. Upon demolding, you realize that this one has much more even or uniform color, meaning the pigment is fully dissolved and it has given it a single and a solid shade. With this technique, you can still achieve a marbled finish if you want. All you need to do is, after adding your powder, drop in a few streaks of pigment, give it a light swirl, and then pour it into your mold. Even though we've successfully cast our gypsum storage pieces, this is far from the end of the journey for a gypsum project. What we've done here is just the beginner stage, so in upcoming tutorials, I'll walk you through what to do next once you've achieved a fully cast piece like the ones we've made in this video. I would like to say a big thank you to all our amazing subscribers for being a big part of our story. If you're watching and you'd love to join our big crafting family, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and tap on the bell so you never miss tutorials like this. Also, like this video, leave a comment if you have any questions or concerns, and we'll be sure to respond. Also, share it with friends, family, and fellow crafts lovers who would enjoy learning from this tutorial. You can connect with us on our TikTok, our Instagram, and Facebook, and all the materials used in this tutorial are going to be listed in the description, and they are all available on our website and in our walk-in shop. Thank you for watching. See you in the next tutorial.